June 30th, 2026, A Meditative Life. The Meaning and Value of Life. Dear beloved saints, I pray you are resting into the Lord's peace today. Sometimes, into the midst of our fierce daily lives, we stand before the mirror and face our own weaknesses, or we feel small and insignificant when confronted by the cold evaluations and standards of the world. However, the Bible solemnly declares that we are not fragile beings standing precariously upon a worldly castle of sand. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 states, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." The creator of the entire universe personally molded the dust to make us into his own image and likeness, and he breathed his warm breath of life deep into our souls. Therefore, before God, every human being, regardless of age, gender, wealth, poverty, status, or rank, is a dazzlingly beautiful and noble creation, because the neighbors right beside us are also precious masterpieces embedded with the Lord's breath. We ought to bear fruits of mutual respect and love. Lay down before the cross the vain pickaxes with which you used to tear yourself down based on worldly conditions. We came from dust, yet we are glorious living beings animated by the breath of the Lord. Furthermore, we must completely trust that the Creator who made us is also the ruler who governs the heavens and the earth and guides every single step of our lives. The gospel of the kingdom is the good news that witnesses this great sovereignty to the world. At times, when we look at the world we live in and the history of mankind, it may seem as if it is running wildly and anxiously out of control, like an unbridled colt. Unexpected trials come our way, and anxieties about tomorrow rush into like a storm, shaking our lives. Yet, behind that seemingly chaotic history and the life, death, blessing, and misfortune of individuals, the perfect and meticulous providence of a mistake-free God flows unceasingly. No one among all creation into the universe can resist the holy will of God, who sovereignly governs history. What true wisdom does this amazing fact give us? It tells us to cast off the heavy yoke of trying to control our lives with our shallow wisdom and calculators, and instead live a life of obedience, seeking only God's will. When we pursue the good will of the Lord and walk into step with Him, we will finally experience vividly the miracle where even the pain and failures of our lives work together to be shaped into the most beautiful good. To know God deeply is the grand journey of realizing the true meaning and value of life, answering the question of who I am. Today, I earnestly hope that you will deeply breathe into the Lord's breath of life infused into your nostrils and enjoy true rest by fully entrusting yourself to the guidance of the Good Shepherd who holds the reins of your life. Meditation and application. The first meditation is restoring our nobility as the image of God. When I look at myself or others right now, am I treating them as precious beings embedded with God's breath of life, or am I evaluating myself or judging my neighbors based on the outward standards and achievements of the world, feeling small and miserable? Tearing myself down based on conditions and circumstances is not a heart given by God. Today, look into the mirror, completely shatter every negative stigma against yourself before the cross, and declare, "I am a glorious living being carrying the breath of the Lord." And let us resolve to bear the first fruit of love into our lives by offering warm words of respect to the precious people we meet today, just as if we were treating the image of God. The second meditation is trusting the providence that governs all of history. Are you fearful and anxious right now? Because your life situation or surrounding environment seems to be running wildly out of control, like an unbridled colt? Faced with unexpected trials, are you running your shallow wisdom and calculator, breaking the sweat into vein to grab the reins of your life with your own strength? The only one who governs the life, death, blessing, and misfortune of the universe is the Lord God, and no one can resist His holy will. Today, lay down all your anxieties about tomorrow, fully entrust your life to the faithful sovereignty of the Lord, who works all things together for good, and practice true rest by silently following only the Lord's will into the place of prayer.